Tahoe Truckee Unified School District Board meeting. Today is Wednesday, June 21st, and we start with a Pledge of Allegiance. Yes? Okay. Join me in the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I just want to point out that President Driller is present via via teleconference. She is actually away at a conference. Okay, so let's see. I don't, let's see, public comment on closed session. Okay, so the board did meet for closed session. There's nothing to report. And so we will continue with the agenda.
Clerk,
could I get approval? I'm sorry?
The approval for the agenda.
Could I get approval for the agenda, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the June 21st board meeting agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, great. Thank you. We will now open to public comment. We have one public comment. I'm sorry?
Sorry.
Yeah, we have one public comment present. Adrian Kimber, if you could please step up to the podium, make sure your mic is on, and you'll have 3 minutes.
I won't take that long. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, is it on?
Is the green light on at the base?
Now it is.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Hi, good afternoon. You've seen me before. My name's Adrienne Kimber. I'm a Truckee resident, and I have 2 daughters at Sells. I'm also the adult mentor for the Tahoe Youth Action Team, who on April 26th presented their resolution to establish goals for energy efficiency, clean energy, and carbon neutrality to the board with the support of many in our community. And today I just wanted to share an experience we had after the national volunteer organization. It's called Citizens Climate Lobby, that the Youth Action Team is a part of. Heard about the work that they had done here. They invited the team to make a presentation at their national conference and come participate in lobbying of our congresspeople on Capitol Hill with the organization. And the team got to do that. They went to the conference. There were over 1,000 people there representing all 50 states. And they made an amazing presentation that was very well received. Met lots of other youth from other states that are doing similar work. And I just wanted to share that with you. They had a great time. It was really good, and we came back energized to keep working on this. And I wanted to thank Amber and Ms. Kramer both for their outreach to us. We're really excited about working on it and seeing the presentation at the end of the summer. And also, I love FOSS. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, are there any other public comments? See none, we will move on. Let's see. Okay, next on the agenda is our superintendent's report.
I don't have anything to say other than in 2 days, we will be ending our 22-23 school year, and I hope everyone has a restful, wonderful, rejuvenating, filling your bucket summer. So, thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, business services. Do we have Todd?
Mr. Rivera's online.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, so first item is the 2023-2024 proposed budget adoption, and that is an action item.
Correct.
Thank you. So tonight we complete the second step in a 2-step process for the budget approval for the 2023-24 school year. The last board meeting, we took care of the first step, which essentially was a public hearing and the presentation of the budget and its contents. And then today we ask that you approve the proposed budget as is.
Okay. Are there any questions from, well, there's one audience member. So if you have any questions, just on anything on the agenda. Otherwise, does the board have any questions or comments for Mr. Rivera? All right, then could I please get a motion to approve the 2023-2024 proposed budget adoption as presented?
I'll move to approve the budget for 2023-24.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Perfect, thank you. And Mr. Rivera, next on the agenda is facilities, a few items, all action items. Go ahead when you are ready.
All right, I'll talk about 10.2 and 10.3 together. These are change orders with contractors for snow removal off of our roofs with Lopez Excavating and also Rupert Inc. And those are two of the contractors that we used when we were experiencing snow load issues and had to do some quick removal. Originally with their contract, it was kind of open-ended. We didn't really know what the final cost would be. So tonight, we just bring you change orders associated with what the final costs were. So this are in addition to what the original contract amounts were.
Okay, so any public comment? How about board comments or questions for Mr. Rivera? All right, let's go ahead and make a motion to approve separately, right? 10.2 first, please.
I'll make a motion to approve 10.2 for the change order with Lopez Excavating.
No, second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, and item 10.3.
This is simply a surplus property or
Oh,
equipment.
no, I'm
list.
sorry. I'm sorry, Todd. We're still doing the
I apologize.
yeah, it's okay. So item 10.3.
So I'll make a motion to approve the change order with Rupert Inc.
No, second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Now 10.4, Mr. Rivera.
Okay, thank you. So before a school district can actually dispose of or sell any unneeded property or equipment, the board needs to declare those items surplus, meaning that the district no longer has a need. So we're bringing a list to you mostly of student chairs, tables, and there's a couple of other items on there as well, like some older inoperable refrigerators, and ovens and a salad bar. Total value is approximately $2,100.
Okay. Any comments or questions for Mr. Rivera? Can we get a motion then to approve item 10.4?
I'll move to approve item 10.4, the surplus list.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, perfect. On to educational services.
So we have Ms. Kramer online who will be presenting the last step of a two-part step for our LCAP approval. Kirsten?
Yes, good evening. Just like Todd with the budget, I'm coming to you for the second part of the two-part process. At the last board meeting, we had a public hearing about the local control accountability plan. And so staff is coming back to the board and recommending approval of the LCAP for the 23-24 school year.
Okay, any public comment on this item? How about comments from the board or questions for Ms. Kramer? All right, then can we get a motion to approve item 11.1 on the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the LCAP for the 23-24 school year.
Yes, yes.
I'll second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
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 And I didn't get a chance to quickly say that I really appreciate all the work that was done to get that done, LCAP done, and it looks awesome, and I'm really excited. So I apologize for that, but I will say aye as well.
Thank you. Okay, curriculum and instruction. This is an information-only item on our agenda tonight.
And this Miss Maloney will be talking about.
Thank you, Superintendent Geisels. Good evening, Board of Trustees. I'm excited to bring a first read of a proposed new high school course for your consideration called Emergency Medical Responder, EMR. The EMR course is the proposed second course in the emergency response pathway, and the emergency response pathway and Mr. Kirschner will now be at Truckee High School starting in the fall of 2023. The second course in the pathway, EMR, will include comprehensive training in the medical components to possible emergency response careers, including oxygen therapy and delivery, essential airway adjuncts, positive pressure ventilation, bleeding control, extremity splinting, and spinal immobilization. Eventually, students may be able to, upon completion of this course with a grade of C or higher, receive a certificate of completion and are eligible to apply for an EMR certification through the state of California. In the field, this certification comes before an EMT certification. This course does meet CTE, TTUSD graduation requirements. Students would be considered a CTE pathway completer if they complete both the emergency response course and then this EMR course. Again, this is just the first read of this proposal, and so this course will be brought forward at the next board meeting for final consideration.
So any public comment on this item? Any questions or comments from the board? Go ahead, Judy.
Yeah, thank you. Logan, this is awesome addition, and I think it's one of those things that is kind of exciting that we started it as a pilot in one school, and then we've actually kind of embraced it, and it's in another school as well, because I think Sierra High has a pathway there as well. So I'm really excited to see that is it's going to full capacity there. We're getting both schools involved, and I think it's wonderful. So I'm very excited to see this.
So that's actually a really good question. So the component that is currently at Sierra High will remain at Sierra High? Okay, so how will those students take part?
So we actually transitioned in the spring to use a modular at Truckee High School because the enrollment was traditionally and has been Truckee High students, and they were all Truckee High students both this spring and will be in the fall and spring of next year. And there is an opportunity for Sierra High students to take it, but that is not what we have seen in historical context.
Right, I know a family friend, their son from North Tahoe took it because of COVID. He was able to do it. So see, there are good things that came out of COVID. And now he's in Montana pursuing that as a career. So, but okay, so it already has transitioned out of the Sierra High building.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes. Thank you for clarifying. Any other questions, comments from the board? This is super exciting, thank you. President Drill, or anything else on this? Okay, thank you. Yep. It will come back then for a vote
In the fall.
in the fall.
Great.
Okay, let's see. So, personnel.
Personnel, Ms. Zapatini has a whole slew of items here that are all action, so take it away, Ms. Zapatini.
Okay, so thank you very much for tonight. There are a number of new job descriptions. Only one of them's new. I think I explained that before. One of them's revised, and the rest of them are really transitioning to a new area of support for our district. So we'll start first with the job description for social worker and mental health specialist. Currently, we have the social worker. It's the same job description, but we expanded it to include mental health specialists, which allows us to broaden our support for students in the district. If you have any questions, Anna Marie would be glad to answer those.
Okay, so any questions or actually any comments from the public? Okay, any questions or comments from the board?
I just had a quick question. Is this a person who is going to be based out of a particular campus, or will they be floating around to various different sites?
We'll have multiple positions, and they'll have specific sites that they serve based on, we're looking at the needs of the students, the enrollments of the school, and dividing time appropriately to serve the students at all of our school sites.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, can we get a motion to approve item 12.1, please?
I'll move to approve job description for social worker and mental health specialist.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay, so the next one that we have is a job description for preschool site supervisor. This is one of the ones that we will be replacing our lead IA positions. And in looking at aligning to what the Commission on Teacher Credentialing and our early childhood education requirements, there's certain levels that you have to have for funding for different things. The preschool site supervisor must be certified. They have to have special certs to do that. And they have a little bit more expanded responsibilities. We also have in this one, we've extended the length of work days to allow them to prepare and get ready for kids to come in. So this is a job description that will replace the lead IA for child development.
Okay, any comments from the public? Any comments or questions from the board? All right, can we get a motion to approve item 12.2?
I'll move to approve the job description for the preschool site supervisor.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, next.
Okay, for the next one, this is actually a new one, the registered behavior technician, and I'm going to ask Anna Marie to give you a little bit of information since it is a new job description for us.
So, one of the areas of need that were identified when I was brought on was to specifically address targeted behaviors around the district and expand our support for students on school sites. Registered behavior technicians have a higher level of training and certification, specifically related to intervening with problem behaviors, implementing behavior support plans. So we would like to see if we can onboard registered behavior technicians to work side by side, follow through with the systematic implementation of behavior support plans for students that are identified with behavior that is significantly interfering with their educational access. They would work very closely with our school psychologists. It does require a specific level of training, and we'll have to see if we can find those people in our community.
Okay, any comments or questions from the public? How about comments or questions from the board? Okay, seeing none, can we get a motion to approve item 12.3?
I'll move to approve the job description for a registered behavior technician and thumbs up, thank goodness. Yes, so needed.
I'll
Yeah,
second.
fingers crossed.
Very specialized position.
I'll second that.
Good to have, though.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. Next.
So bringing next to you, we're going to, as an assistive technology technician, this is a person who works with assistive technology and supports our speech and language, visually impaired teacher, the occupational therapist, special ed. Currently, we have a special ed aide doing this, and they work within the district office, planning, preparing, and this expands their work to be able to go out and directly work with kids with assistive devices, but continues to support our special education staff in providing the assistive technology.
Okay, any comments on this item? Questions or comments from the board? Okay. Can we get a motion to approve it?
I'll move to approve the job description for assistive technology technician.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Item 12.5.
Okay, 12. This is the job description for coordinator of wellness. Currently, we have a manager of wellness, and our wellness program, we're really lucky to be able to expand it, but with the expansion of it comes a lot of extra job responsibilities and supervision and grant writing things. So this transitions the manager of wellness to a coordinator level.
And that person is currently That's
Kim
in the
Bradley.
is in the position is Kim Bradley.
Yeah, all of these positions that we're replacing currently have some amazing, strong employees in them.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. Any comments or questions from the board? Okay. Can somebody make a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the job description for the coordinator of wellness.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, item 12.6.
And this has to do with our little ones, so our early childhood education. Currently, we have a manager of early learning, and that is Cindy Maciel. Her responsibilities, of course, with our expansion of preschool, TK, a lot of that stuff, again, similar to the coordinator of wellness, the job has majorly expanded. So this is a replacement of the manager of early learning.
Okay, any comments from the public? Comments or questions from the board? Okay,
I'll move to approve the job description for the coordinator of early learning.
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 And item 12.7.
So in this item, we have Ms. Amber Burke, who's back, who's going to provide us with an update from since our last board meeting on June 7th about where we are at with the two calendars that we proposed for 24-25. Yes.
Okay. Good evening. So tonight I am here to follow up on our conversation from the last meeting regarding the 24-25 school year calendar. And so as a quick reminder, where we are in this process, if you remember, I'm sure you can't forget that we had a record number of snow days this last year. We had 14 in total. In addition to that, we also have exceeded the 5 built-in weather days 4 of the last 7 years. And so after this winter, we really received a large amount of parent feedback in both March and April with concerns about students missing instructional time. So following all of that, we wanted to reach out to families and work on a school calendar and see what we could do in terms of altering the calendar and also looking at should we add in additional weather days. So in May, we sent out a school calendar survey to really try to get as much parent, student, and staff feedback as we could. As a reminder, we had over 1,700 responses to that survey, and a couple of the major takeaways that we had was there was really no definitive majority of what people wanted to do, but we tried to pull out as much information as we could through that survey. The most consensus was around building in some flex days into the calendar. 54% of our English respondents and 80% of our Spanish respondents said that they wanted to add between 1 and 5 days into the calendar. And then one other thing that we really heard was the lack of transportation was an issue for 46% of our Spanish respondents. So utilizing that feedback, the TTUSD Calendar Committee, which is made up of administration, representatives from our 2 employee unions, TTEA and CSEA, and a board member, really utilized that information from the survey to create 2 draft calendar options, which we presented to you at the last meeting. Following that meeting, we were instructed to bring both of those calendar options back today in a hope that we would get some additional information from our community on which one they preferred. So on June 14th, we launched a second calendar survey where community members could vote essentially on which option they preferred. So before we get into the results, just a reminder of what those 2 calendar options were. So option number 1 was 3 days less of February break. That calendar would start on Tuesday, August 27th, 2024. This is traditionally the same start date that we have been doing, which is the Tuesday before Labor Day weekend. This aligned with the slight majority of 56% that wanted to keep the start date in late August to early September. The end date for this calendar, if we use all 7 built-in snow days, is Tuesday, June 17th. And if no weather days are needed, then it would be June 6th. As a reminder, with now the Juneteenth holiday in 2025, Juneteenth falls on a Thursday. So the calendar committee really wanted to try to make sure that in both options, we were ending school by the 18th or earlier, because it would be difficult to have a holiday the day before the last day of school. This calendar and the next calendar both have 7 built-in weather days. So we did kind of go with what we heard from those survey results. There were 2 break modifications in this calendar option. One of them is that 3 days were removed from February break. So that break would become a 4-day weekend, which is including those national holidays, but it would not be a full week off. That was in alignment with 44% of the respondents that were open to removing days from February break. When we asked the question, which break would you be open to removing days from, the 2 top answers were February break and not removing any days. And also, we moved spring break back to the 3rd week in April versus the 1st week in April to try and just spread out some of those holidays. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm moving mine, and I'm not moving yours. I apologize for that. Okay. So then the second calendar option was 2 additional flex days built into the calendar. So the start date for this calendar was Thursday, August 22nd. So this is actually starting 3 days earlier than we've traditionally started. It is the Thursday prior to the week before Labor Day. Because 2024 is a leap year, this date does sound even earlier, but it's really the 3 days earlier. A frequent theme that we saw in the open question on this first survey was that because NIAA fall sports begin in mid-August, a lot of high school families were open to starting school a little bit earlier so that it aligned with sports. The end date for this calendar, if all 7 days were utilized, is June 18th, and if no days were utilized, it would be June 11th. So with the first calendar, all of the weather days were built into the end. The difference with this one is 2 of the weather days are built into May. So it still has the 7 days built in. And again, this flex option, we had 54% of the respondents that indicated they were open to at least 1 flex day. And of that 54%, the largest majority were supporting 2 additional days. For this one, the only break modification is moving spring break back to the 3rd week in April. And so February break would be left fully intact. All right, so for the second survey, we had 1,547 responses. And so drum roll, here are the results. So for option 1, yes, the 3 days less February break. Thank you. Too many things to click. We had 824 total votes for this option, 785 from the English survey and 39 from the Spanish survey. Option 2, we had 723 votes, 705 from the English survey and 18 from the Spanish survey. So ultimately, option 1 had the most votes. It had the most votes by 101 votes. And so there's the results. Yeah. I can answer any questions.
Thank you. Yes, are there any comments or questions from the audience? No? How about from the board? Comments or questions, discussion?
Just a comment. I think what I am concluding from this is that most of our residents, families, do not want to give up days from summer, especially in August.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very astute.
Yeah.
Very astute of you. Trustee Moody.
I've heard it more than once.
Maybe it was the timing of this also, though, because this June has been so cold that as we're answering these survey questions, everyone's thinking, I would just like it to be hot for once.
Yeah. Even now, geez, it's
And
June
today's
something.
the first day of summer.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments for Amber, Dee Dee?
Thank you. I was just going to say that, Amber, thank you very much for putting it all together. And it is a tough one because it doesn't really ever, you can't please we can't please anybody. And I think that we've done a due diligence, and I really appreciate the going out and getting the input. And I appreciate the fact that everybody was aware of this and actually participated. It means a lot when we hear back from public, and I think that this was a positive way to do it. But it gave us, as board members, as well as the district, just an idea of where everybody is. But I think that I really want everyone to know that we did listen to everybody, and we were able to give you a platform to actually positively and constructively give us feedback in a forum that was or happier and happy, whatever the word I'm looking for. But I think it's a step in the right direction, and I really appreciate the fact that everyone chose this as a way to communicate with us.
Kirsten, do you have anything? Okay, so now we need a motion to approve.
One of the calendars.
Yes, one of the calendars. So go ahead.
I'll just start us off and see how it goes, but I would make a motion to adopt option 1, so that's the 3 days less for the February break and moving the spring break. So that sort of maximizes summer based on the input that I think we got and kind of understood at this point.
Is there a second to that? Some support for that?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Honestly, I would love to see a third or fourth option, but I know that we went through just about every single option that there is. I don't know. I don't think there are any other options really that are viable. So I vote yes.
And I'll follow through with an aye. Thank you.
Okay, so the motion passes to approve the option 1 for the 24-25 school calendar year. And I'm guessing, I'm looking at you, that this will be posted on the website so people can print it, download it, whatever they need. Okay, thank you for all that hard work. And it's tough, right? I'm looking at Ms. Apatini because it's always this close, always. So thank you, guys.
And the hours that went into
Yeah.
the different options that Ms. Sabatini helped us look at, and the committee that looked at them, and to create a calendar that really just tweaks our original calendar slightly.
Yeah.
It's not a major change. It's
Yeah.
not a huge change. It's
Yeah.
just a little bit of just hours that went into just making that one small change. So we'll see if it's a benefit.
Yeah. Okay, so I believe we can move on to item 12.8.
And this is Ms. Zapatini's as well.
So I have some revisions to both the certificated and the classified management salary schedule. So on the certificated, we removed the position of Manager of College and Careers, CTE, and Adult Education. This was due to credentialing direction from Placer County Office of Education. We moved it to the classified management salary schedule, so the salary has not been changed at all. We moved it from the certificated to the classified. Addition to the classified management salary schedule, we took off the early learning manager and wellness manager, and we added the coordinator of early learning, the coordinator of wellness to that one. So it really is setting up the salary schedules, which drives the escape, how they pay people and when we put people in positions.
Okay, are there any questions regarding this item? No? How about from the board? Questions or comments? Okay, could we get a motion to approve this item, please?
I'll move to approve the staff report for June 21st, 2020. Or sorry, is that what I'm?
Salary schedule.
The salary, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, for some reason I'm on the wrong item.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Revisions for the certificated and classified management salary schedules. Thank you.
Good job. I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, perfect. We are now at the consent agenda.
And we do not want to pull any items. Trustee
Okay.
Hennessy.
So no pooling of items, no changing.
Nope.
So could we get a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Sorry, Pat.
Okay, now on to, I'm sorry? Yes, now on to donations.
So item 15.1 is a memorial donation from Catherine Teague for Truckee Elementary School Library, dedicating a bookshelf to honor Bobby Anders. And Ms. Teague has generously donated $1,800 to the district to dedicate this bookshelf at Truckee Elementary to honor Bobby Anders. And staff is asking for your approval.
So any comments or questions on this item? Okay, could we get, did you
Oh,
want to
I'm sorry.
say something, Ms. Didi?
As always with our donations, I just always like to say thank you so much for our community support as always. And in just so many, like I looked at this, and just so many different and wonderful ways that our public comes through. The diversity of our donations is intense. So thank you very much.
Okay, well said, thank you. So can we
If I
get a
could-
motion to approve item 15.1?
Make a comment.
Oh, yes, please.
So I just want to say a couple of things about Bobby Anders. I mean, she goes pretty far back to Truckee Elementary School as a teacher. She was also a pretty strong union representative for TTEA. I worked with her fairly closely in that regard. She's a fantastic teacher. Her kids were students of mine and on the ski team. A great family, a great teacher, parent, wonderful human being, wonderful person. So I'm glad to see this Kathy making this donation in her name. Is definitely well respected.
Thank you. Would you like to make a motion?
Yes, thank you. I will move to accept the memorial donation from Kathy Teague in honor of Bobby Anders.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. It just seemed appropriate that you would make the motion. That's why I invited you to do that. Yeah. Item 13.2.
Yes, the Tahoe.
Oh, no, gosh, I'm sorry, 15.2.
15.2. The Truckee Tahoe Airport has generously donated $4,500 to our district to sponsor science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics, known as STEAM, to the Sage Hen Outdoor Education Program. So staff is asking for the board's approval to accept this donation.
Any questions or comments before we approve this?
Just one comment. I would like to recognize that the airport district is one of our big community partners that they seem to pull through for all sorts of different community events and needs. And so this is just sort of recognize the work that they do to be integrated into our community as a whole, even though they don't necessarily have to do that. It's not what you typically see as part of an airport district. So it's kind of exciting. So with that, I'll make a motion to accept the donation from the Truckee Tahoe Airport District for the STEAM Sage Hen Outdoor Education Program.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And before I say aye, I am still needing to go on that trip, so I'm very, very honored that the airport has decided to keep us going, and I'll say aye as well.
Okay, thank you. That motion passes. It is a really fun field trip. The overnighter is very cold, though. Okay, donation item 15.3.
Yes, and also donating to the district on behalf of the STEAM program and Sage Hen Outdoor is our Truckee Rotary Foundation. They're donating $1,000 to this program, and staff is asking the board to approve this donation.
Okay, questions, comments? All right. Can we get a motion?
I'll make a motion to say thanks and accept the donation from the Truckee Rotary Foundation for STEAM Sage Hen Outdoor Education Program.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And the last donation, item 15.4, please.
Yes, the Glenshire Elementary PTO has generously donated $2,000 to TTUSD to subsidize the purchase of Glenshire staff jackets for the coming school year for 23-24 to promote school spirit and acknowledge the hard work and dedication of the Glenshire staff.
Any questions or comments on that donation? Okay, can we get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve. Oh, sorry. I want to do one. I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, Dee.
To approve this final donation. 15.4.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I know those are going to be very snazzy. I can't wait to see them. So thank you to all of our generous donors in our community for always generously supporting the students in our district. Thank you very much. Okay, board business. We are at comments of the board already. Wow. So may I start? I just can't get over the fact that my third meeting to, what do you call this? To chair the meeting, and there's no hot issues. I just had to say that. Well, we're wrapping up another school year. Very exciting. I know everybody is just really full. This has been a big year in a lot of ways for a lot of people, not just our students and our teachers, but our families. So, and our district staff, of course. So, yay, we're almost there. And we've been pretty busy as a board. We had board governance. I snuck into a DLAC meeting, a district, what's that? I snuck into a DLAC meeting afterwards. We've had many graduations, from adult graduations to, all the high schools, and now we have promotions coming up this week. So as a board, I think we've been pretty busy. I don't know, there's so many things I want to say, but I just want to highlight two things. So as to not take up a ton of time. One is, one of my favorite events every year is what used to be called the Literacy Circle that Sierra High does here in this room. And I think this year it was called Books and Coffee. I think they're switching it up a little. And for those of you who don't know, the students at Sierra High School fill this room with poster boards and artwork that highlight a book that they choose to highlight for the year of reading. And every single year, I hear from the students, I was someone who didn't enjoy reading, or I have a hard time reading, which I can relate to because my first language is Spanish. So when I read, my brain translates with me, and it takes me a really long time to read a book. And just watching these kids, some who have not been speaking English for a very long time, right, or all of their lives, it's just impressive, and it just tugs at my heart. And kudos to Sierra High and Miss Jill Zapata for instilling the love of reading, or at least the courage to attempt to read. And it's just one of my favorites, and it's open to the district, so, in the community. So just know, every school year, toward the end of the school year, I know some of you were here, and it was pretty dang impressive. And then the second thing I want to say is I want to take this opportunity to thank Ms. Zapatini, as today is your last board meeting, and you were not here to be recognized at the last board meeting, but I know we have you till Friday, but I just wanted to say thank you so very much for everything that you've done for this district, things that I know of and things that I don't know are part of your job, so thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. And we wish you the very best in the next chapter of your life. And then also for you, this is your last board meeting, even though technically you're here for another handful of days. Just wanted to thank you for the brief but very full. Wasn't that brief? It didn't feel brief, but it was brief. To us, it was brief. Just the very full impact that you had, and how you very graciously and tenaciously maneuvered us through COVID, negotiations, snow, smoke. I mean, thank you so much, and we also wish you the very best with your new endeavors in the Bay Area. So thank you. Okay, that's me. Someone else, please.
Well, Chris, I just want to commend you on your fantastic facilitating skills.
It was speedy. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not easy being in that position, and I'm so grateful that you have so gracefully stepped into the role so many times, as Dee Dee has had so many other obligations to tend to, both personal and professional. So thank you very much. And also kudos, echo completely to Carmen and to Joan for your contributions to our school district. You've both left indelible marks on our school district, and I think we'll be transformed forever. And now we're well positioned for the future. Thanks to all of your hard work. So thank you so much. We'll miss you both so much.
I have also been trying to attend as many graduations as I can, and there's a lot of them. So I might have failed a little bit on that part, and I'm going to try harder next year. But I did make it to the Sierra High, Truckee River, Coldstream graduation. And I was really in awe of the students and the work that all of the staff and teachers do to get those kids to that point of graduation. And there was a total of $131,000 of just money that the kids were able to have to continue now that they've graduated. So that's a huge accomplishment for all of those students. And you could see it in just the presentations that the teachers had and the students' self-confidence, by recognizing that's a big deal. So I love that whole program that we have, and was just really in awe. So of all the graduations that I made, I'm glad that I was able to go to that one. And then a little sidebar of wearing your helmet on your e-bike is really important. So for those of us that sometimes don't have a lot of skills, you can get some really good road rash, but you don't hurt your brain. So just a reminder that even as adults, it's important for us to wear our helmets when we're on our bikes on the roads, and hopefully our children will see that as an example.
I see a lot of people, kids and adults, without helmets on, so thanks for being a great example. I don't want to pile on, but I do want to thank Ms. Sabatini for all your work, and I hope you really have fun in retirement with your family and your grandchildren. With that, and to Carmen as well for I don't want to repeat what Chris said, but the last 3 years have been something else, really. I don't know. I kind of think, hey, what is she gonna most like not seeing again here? And was it snow, smoke, or hopefully not a pandemic again? But thanks for all the work that you've done during, I think, what are some pretty rough years in education, and for getting us through it. And thank you for stepping up and leading the meetings last, I don't know, however many times. Are you in New Zealand again, Dee Dee? No? Okay. I'm never quite sure. She's always moving around. And I did want to say one final thing, and it was on something that Chris had said about it's a quiet meeting, and how thankful you were for that since you were running it. And I think that since I have been on this board, we have inadvertently or maybe accidentally put our educational community through some real heart palpitations, almost heart attacks. And we see that by the number of very active letters and emails that we get from time to time. And there's been 3 or 4 different little events that have occurred. And the last one being the calendar. And what I wanted to say about how we can perhaps prevent that in the future, and this is something you guys all know, but I've come to realize these things as I'm new to this. And with the calendar, of course, there was a huge eruption at first of interest from the community. And but Amber sent out surveys too. We spent time in board meetings talking about it. We listened to the community who gave input. And today, when we actually make the decision on which calendar to choose, there's 2 people here, and it tells me that our community is saying, okay, thank you. We got to talk about it. We got to see the options. We got to provide our input. Go ahead and make the decision. We're not going to come down and fill the room with comments. So I think there's a lesson to be learned there in regarding to any sort of controversial or emotionally charged decision that comes before the board to provide that kind of time and participation on the part of the educational community anyway. So well done. And thank you, everyone.
Ms. Driller?
No, I'm not in New Zealand, Pat. Thank you very much. However, I do want to thank you for letting me speak. I'll go quick. Carmen, 3 years was not enough time, but I'm sure you thought it was longer than 3 years. Really appreciate the fact that you did what you did. It was not an easy year, so I learned tons. I appreciate your mentorship. I appreciate your conversation, your guidance. It was a lot, and I am excited that you're still close by, and I know where you live now. So back at you. I'll be down there. Joan Z, we have the Tahoe Rim Trail to do. You are not leaving, so we will do some hiking with you. And again, I'll mimic everyone else's comments. There's the two of you together did things to our district that needed to be done. And we are in a better spot because of both of you, and appreciate all that you've done. You definitely made an impact on our programs here. And I think that we're going to launch from there. So you will be missed, but your impact will still be noted, and we appreciate all of it. I'm not going to cry, so I'm going to keep going. Books and Breakfast is a highlight. It is really great to see. I went to that with Chris as well. It is open to the public, and I think that's something that people should come and look, and I think it's a great thing to see. I am in San Diego. I am actually with a couple other teachers, Dave Stakely and Aaron Lefevers, Paula Bossler, and Nick Fertitta, can't even say it correctly, sorry, and Kirsten and Todd. And we are at the Labor Management Institution. 3 days of conferencing, working with open communication and how to sort of navigate labor union management issues. And so it's been extremely exciting, a lot of open talks, and I'm really, really glad we're here. We have a lot of things to report back, and it was great that we were all together. We did not do a rickshaw ride. I attended a bunch of graduations too. Really proud of our students, really proud of our community for supporting all of our students. We did have money donated to every one of our high schools that was far beyond anybody's comprehension. We had some great diversity of our distribution. I think it's extremely important to recognize that our support teams at our high schools are actually asking all of our children to apply for scholarships. There were some ones at the Coldstream and Sierra High and Truckee River School ones. They said that all of the children that applied were able to receive a grant. So it's something to be said about our community, but it's also something to be said about the fact that our teams of our schools are actually getting our kids to ask for the support, and our community is rallying behind us. I did go to the Boys and Girls Play and watch the spelling bee, and thank goodness I didn't get chosen to spell. Great to see that we have diversity of activities in our programs, and it was really fun. And Chris Hennessy's husband had to step up to spell, and he failed. He failed a couple words. But anyway, other than that.
Wait, he failed after like the second time.
He had to do it twice. Yeah, that wasn't good. But really, listen, great end of the year. I am excited for everybody to enjoy some summer, and I'm sorry it's so cold. But really, really enjoy the rest of your summer, and then I will be back tomorrow. So I'm going to the last day of school at Tahoe Lake.
Great. Anything else before we wrap up?
No.
Okay.
I'm not sure when the next. Oh, yes. Actually, sorry. Yes, Chris. Thank you very much. This was
you're welcome.
This was a treat.
You're welcome. And I have 30 miles left on that trail, so count me in. All right. Meeting's adjourned.
Later.